Welcome to the Unlimited Discussion podcast, where we talk about anything and everything and nothing. A quick disclaimer, this is not professional services. It's for entertainment purposes only. Hi, I'm Maggie.
Hi, I'm Fallon. Come grab a coffee with us.
So, Fallon, how are you going?
Not too bad, lovey, not too bad.
That's good. We've just had Mother's Day, which was wonderful. Happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful mums out there. You've got something interesting you do for Mother's Day, and I thought you might like to share that with everyone. What is it you do with your husband for Mother's Day?
Oh, I send my husband back to his mother. I do. That is my gift as well for my mother-in-law. That's her gift, to get her son back in on the entire day of Mother's Day. I do not celebrate Mother's Day with my in-laws, though it did take a little bit of time for them to understand. But I am a mum, 4 boys, and if it was that my children were older, that would be what I would want for Mother's Day, is to actually spend quality time with my boys.
Yeah.
So I figured, why not do that? I also don't, me and my husband, I buy for my family, he buys for his family, which, you've probably seen some Reddits about it or whatever. It's pretty common for that to happen. It stops arguments, it stops the confusion, it stops the expectation.
Takes a lot of pressure off the other person.
A lot of pressure off the other person, and, it's not my family. I don't need to buy for them. So, so I send him off. And he goes and buys his mum or his dad for Father's Day, same thing. And he goes off and organises his own Mother's Day present for his mum. And I wish her a happy Mother's Day. I still do that. I just don't involve in it. And she gets to have him for as long as she wants for the Mother's Day.
I think that's really nice. Does he like it?
Yeah, I don't think he's got a problem with it. I think at the start of it, he was sort of like, well, aren't you coming? And I'm like, no, she's not my mum. I'm going to go see my own mum and spend that time with my kids so they can spend that time with their mums. A lot of it, you end up spending all day just running around otherwise, visiting everybody, and you don't get to relax yourself on Mother's Day. And we don't always particularly even spend Mother's Day on Mother's Day. It might be the following weekend and whatever as well. So, I'm pretty lucky. My family and my kids, my husband, they all spoil me most of the time anyway, and let me know that, I'm doing a good job and everyone survives. But, I do find it a little bit funny because my husband's mother has said to me, you don't come over on Mother's Day. Why is this? And I said, oh, because he's your son. And I send him to you. She said to me one day, you know that there was no refunds. I didn't ask for a refund on my son. So I said, well, no, there was no docket of that. It clearly was a refundable situation. So I send your son to you on Mother's Day to you, for you to spend time together. So that's where that's at. And we've always done that for, our entire relationship. But I'm interested to see, what other people do. So if you have a different way of spending Mother's Day, guys, leave us a comment in the comments below.
Because exactly. And there's not many daughter-in-laws that would be happy for their husbands to go and spend the day with their mother. There really wouldn't be, because it's their Mother's Day. They've got the little kids. They're expecting the husband to be the one that's there spoiling them because they fathered the children, or even if it's a step situation, all that kind of thing. So it's actually a bit unusual, and that's why I raised it, because I think it's great. I think it's really great, but also, I mean, we all know about mother-in-laws from hell as well, and there are a lot, and it prevents that. So,
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
you go spend the day with your mum. I'm having the day to myself
With my kids.
with
Yeah,
my
exactly.
kids.
Like, I'm pretty lucky. I don't have a mother-in-law from hell, I
No,
should say.
no, yeah,
But at the same time, I don't want to be running around on that day when my kids are trying to spend that time with me. In saying that, I do have a very young daughter-in-law, and yeah, very much the same. It's all about her and her family and her mum. So,
that's right.
like, it
Yeah,
makes it very difficult for me to be able to see my older son when he's expected to spend it with her and her family instead of
yeah,
his own mum, which is what the purpose of the day is. And
yeah,
that's why I, have the opinion of, you know what, it's your mum. She gave birth to you. Go and pay her respects. It's one day for a couple of hours. Just go and spend some time with her. And I would much rather that than a gift anyway. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
So,
I think it's a great
to
idea.
yeah, that's where we're at. That, and I'm probably lazy underneath.
No, but you're
I just
allowed to
don't
be.
want
It's
to go.
Mother's Day. No, but it's Mother's Day. That's the thing. I always believe because it's Mother's Day, you should be able to do what you want to do. So if you don't want to be running around everywhere to go and see in-laws or great-grandmothers or grandmothers or whatever, and you want to stay at home with your children, then you have every right to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and not feel obligated that you have to do that, because
No,
that's
that's
not what the
right.
day is for. It's not
No,
what it's
it's really
intended
not.
for. Yes. So what did you do on Mother's Day?
No, you weren't supposed to ask that.
Oh. Sorry.
No, I had a great day, actually. I literally slept in. I'm not I'm a bit embarrassed about this because you know me, I tend not to sleep in, but I actually slept in till something like 9:30, quarter to 10 in the
Oh,
morning.
good for you.
It's something I rarely do, but I have been doing quite a bit of lately, I've got to be honest, and I feel guilty about it. But I
Why
slept
do you feel
in.
guilty?
Oh, I don't know, because you know, I'm mum, I'm supposed to get up and do all this stuff, and I don't
There's nothing
know.
wrong with sleeping in. And for starters, it's a Sunday.
I know, and I've been loving it. I've got to tell you, I've actually been really loving it. Normally,
Who
it's
else
like,
feels
oh,
guilty about sleeping in? I need to know this. I do not feel guilty for sleeping in.
oh no.
It's my
Well, I
day.
get
It's a
up.
weekend.
I feel like half the day's gone because I've slept so late. You know, I'm used to getting up really early, and then suddenly I've slept 4 or 5 hours of that time. I'm like, oh my God, go and and now you're behind. The whole routine's out. Everything's like out of whack. But you know, I was okay with it. I just thought it's Mother's Day. You know, I can do whatever I want. I slept in.
Absolutely.
My husband cooked me the most magnificent breakfast. We had eggs Benedict. My father-in-law had made this amazing bread,
Oh,
and it was
wow.
just divine. I'm not eating bread at the moment, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've got to say, I thought, well, it's Mother's Day. I'm having this bread. This bread is delicious. You know, the crunchy, not hard, crispy crust.
Oh,
It was
yes, that's the good
just
ones.
divine with the poached egg, and we had bacon. So, and then of course the Béarnaise sauce or hollandaise sauce on it. It was just wonderful. So
Oh,
yummy.
sounds good.
And then we went down to my in-laws and we had Mother's Day dinner, which my husband cooked for all of us. And she doesn't very often get to eat fish because her husband doesn't like the smell of it. My father-in-law doesn't like the smell of fish. So, yeah, we cooked it outside on a portable hot plate, and we had fish. They had steak and magnificent crispy, again, not hard, crispy chips with beautiful soft centers, fish and chips, lemons off the tree. It was just divine, and he'd made this beautiful sauce to go on the
Yum.
fish and cooked it in butter and parsley. It was just magnificent. Felt spoilt rotten. Absolutely spoiled
Wow.
rotten. It was
Does
lovely.
sound like we were spoiled. That's good.
Yeah, it was
That's
great.
good.
Had a really good day. It was really relaxing, like that's to me, that's the ultimate day is just to not have any pressure and just relax. And it was wonderful.
Absolutely. Just chill it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, let
Yeah.
us know what you did for Mother's Day. We're intrigued to
Yeah.
see how everyone responds to Mother's Day different. Do you even do Mother's Day? I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't skip it, but I'm sure many people do.
Some people do, yeah. Yeah.
Or
And I mean,
maybe they can't.
I'm interested to know in sort of whether they think sending their sons to their mothers for Mother's Day is a good idea, because I think a lot of people wouldn't like that after, I'm going on what I read online, obviously, where there's a lot of arguments between in-laws and daughter-in-laws about what happens on Mother's Day, because they want to be included, obviously, because it's their children. And I think the
Yeah.
problem is I don't know if it's a problem, but if you've got a son and a daughter, the daughter usually drags her husband over to see her parents on Mother's Day. It's the
Yeah.
same with Christmas and birthdays and that kind of thing, or any sort of Easter, all that kind of stuff. The woman usually takes her husband to her family, and the
Yeah.
in-laws it's always been the case, hasn't it? The in-laws tend to miss out. The son's parents do actually tend to miss out, and that's been an accepted thing for years.
Yes.
And
Yes, I agree with that.
I really love the idea of changing that, so that, well, you know what? Because there's nothing wrong with either separating and you doing your thing on Mother's Day and sending your husband to go and see his mum.
Yeah.
I love that
And if you've got a
idea.
crap daughter-in-law, like that's perfect.
Exactly, yeah. If you don't want to see her on the day, well, that's great. That works out really well, doesn't it? But if you
Yeah,
wanted
that's
to
right.
go and you enjoy going, then you could go as well. But it's like you said, so many of these holidays we spend time like literally traveling.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We try and do half days. So if it's like Easter or Christmas or whatever, we do a half day. So like the in-laws, my in-laws do the morning, and we do the afternoon type of situation, particularly
Yeah,
if there's grandkids involved, that works out, or cousins and whatever, that works out. So everyone gets to spend time together without the whole shuffle of 6 million different places. I've done that in the
yeah,
past, and that it just
yeah,
becomes hard, and the kids don't enjoy the day. Some of our extended family, we do a completely different day for Christmas, and it's sometimes can be, even in November, and we're doing
yeah.
pre-Christmas, and that
It
that
works
does
out
work out,
better
and it's
though.
it
Yeah,
does, and it's
there's
it's
no
more events
pressure.
you have to go to, but you're not constantly on the road for the entire day, which is
That's
what we
right.
prefer.
And
And
it
I
takes the
generally
pressure
try not to
off.
go anywhere. Yeah, it does. And I generally cook for a massive family. So when I've got to do that, trying to travel all over the place and then
Yeah,
cook
it
for,
doesn't
12
work.
people upwards, it really doesn't work. It makes it extremely hard. I'm exhausted by 4 o'clock and I'm ready to go to bed. And that's not pleasurable. And Christmas Day,
No.
particularly, is my favorite day. So we just try to either half the day, or we just celebrate it on every other day. We're not religious, so it doesn't have to be on those days for us.
Yeah.
And we just enjoy the time then, rather than rushing it because we have to.
I'm really up for the let's do another day, because it works out better. Like, you have people that like to strictly stick to Christmas Day and they feel like they're missing out if they don't see you on Christmas Day. So let's surrender that and let them have Christmas Day, and then go and celebrate your Christmas without the pressure and go and do it any other day.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
still
I mean, if
Christmas.
you've got little kids, that makes it a bit hard, particularly if they're believers. You have to be able to do it on that day. But, when it's just for family, it's easier just to say, you know what, guys, let's do it the week after, or let's do it Boxing Day, or,
Absolutely.
like,
Yeah, I agree with you. We always did it at home with our kids on Christmas Day. especially Christmas morning, the present opening, all that kind of thing. It's fun. I loved it. I absolutely lived for Christmas Day. Loved it. Christmas
Yeah, that's
lunch,
how I am.
whatever. And then go and see family in the afternoon if you need to. But I tended to invite people to come to our place because it was a huge thing to pack up kids and go and travel. You can't
Yeah.
do it. And there's also that scenario too where there's a lot of step families involved. So there's other parents
Yes.
involved that you've got to consider. And we understand that, don't we? Where, you've got to try and fit all that in. So it doesn't necessarily work.
Yeah, that's right.
So people
That's
need to
right.
be, I think, a little bit more accepting of, breaking traditions and allowing, like, for more fun in our lives. Yeah, everyone likes to put a bit of pressure on, and I'm all for let's take the pressure off. Let's do the family thing on another day. And
Yeah.
then we actually get to celebrate a proper Christmas. And, I really don't care if it's 3 months later. I just want to have Christmas Day with my family, my children, their children, when we can all get together. And no pressure. No one's having to run off. No one's feeling like they're left out. There's none of that.
Yeah, it really does erase a lot of issues and a lot of
It
problems.
does, yeah. Let's just break traditions.
Yes.
And I mean, a lot of people actually go to church on Christmas Day. We always used to as kids. It was a big thing. You went to church on Christmas Eve or you went to church on Christmas Day. That was a big part of it. So that was, almost a half a day gone just in going to church.
Yeah, so that only leaves half a day to be running
That's
around and doing
right.
what you need to
You
do. Yeah,
can't
that
do
would be
it.
tight.
People
Yeah.
wonder why they're stressed and have anxieties and stuff. And it's because we put so much pressure on ourselves. So let's remove the pressure. Let's take it easy.
Yeah, I think that's it's not like it used to be either, like back in the day when mum was at home and could spend the entire day doing what she needed to do because she didn't have to work. Most
That's
parents, most
right.
families now, everybody's working. The teens are working, the
Yeah.
young adults are working, mum
Yeah.
and dad are working. So it
Absolutely.
does make it really difficult, really difficult. So yeah, I'm a little bit of a, yeah, let's just do it where we can. And
Yeah.
particularly
Yeah.
doesn't need to be on that day. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
That's
Unless you
right.
have little kids, I understand that. But on the outskirts of in-laws or the extended family, particularly, or friends, yeah, just do it on a different
Yeah,
day.
exactly. I mean, I'd much rather see you spending the day with your kids because your kids want to be home playing with the toys that they got for Christmas, having
Yeah,
Christmas Day, celebrating the whole Santa thing even and doing that kind of stuff and relaxing and getting to enjoy the day instead of having to travel out, go and see people. And
yeah,
then like they don't even remember what they got for
the
Christmas
God.
because they got to look at it,
And then it's
pack
like,
it
pack
up.
up, quick, get dressed. We're
We've got to
going,
go
get in the
and
car.
visit. Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
over for them. It's actually not an enjoyable day.
yeah, that's right. So maybe we should ask everybody right down below, how do you sort it out and how does it work best for your families?
Yeah.
Give us some ideas and might be able to share around for everybody to
Yeah,
have
help
different
people
ideas
out.
on how to sort this out because it really is high pressure. And I'm so glad. I mean, I did that when the kids were little, was open presents, get in the
Absolutely.
car, drive around all day,
Yeah,
seeing different family members, then the in-laws, and then the in-laws on the in-laws and their extended family. We would
yeah,
literally can get up to five different parts of the family in a day, and
absolutely.
we're
Yeah.
getting home at midnight at night time. And you're right, the kids haven't even spent time with their presents, don't even
Presents.
know what they've
They're
got.
exhausted.
They're exhausted. When they're little, they're screaming because they're overtired. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
tough. So as I don't regret changing our ways,
No.
and I don't regret even doing the Mother's Day thing. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just plod along and cruise with it quite
Yeah.
happily.
All the stress gone.
And if they get offended, it's not my issue to worry about.
That's right.
I'm very open and honest. This is how it's going to be. End of
And I
story.
mean,
Move along.
yeah, and the intention is never to offend anyone or cause offense. It's just about accommodating everybody and trying to be more accommodating, because that's what relieves stress.
Yeah.
And talking about being accommodating, here's one for you. I
Yeah.
was on Reddit, am I the a-hole? Which is one,
Oh,
one
yes.
of my favorite subreddits. Now, this person wrote in saying, am I the a-hole for taking up 2 seats on a bus? Now, I automatically thought it's a bigger person and they needed 2 seats. I literally did think that by the heading, but no, that's not the case. The bus was fairly empty. The woman, I think it's a woman, had gone shopping, doesn't matter. The person had gone shopping, they've got bags of shopping. They sat down on a seat and then they put their shopping on the seat next to them. Now, there was plenty of other room on the bus. It wasn't a problem. But the further the bus travelled, obviously the bus started to fill up. And there was standing room only. So people are standing up. Well, she's sitting there with her groceries, taking up a seat. And she didn't think she was an a-hole because no one actually asked her to move her bags. And she didn't offer to move her bags for anyone, and then complained that someone passively aggressively told her you could have moved your bag and not been inconsiderate and rude. Everyone wants to sit down, not just you. And she said, I didn't respond because I really didn't know what to say. The person who said that never asked me to move my stuff, and if they did, I probably would have. So I don't understand how I was being rude. Well, let's take a moment to digest that. My first and immediate thought was, everyone pays a fare on a bus to have a seat,
Yeah, good
to
point.
travel to a destination, and to hopefully be able to sit down. Obviously, if you are someone who thinks your groceries are more important than giving your seat to a human, there's a little bit of an issue. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to say this straight out the bat. Yes, you're an a-hole.
Look, I think if the most of the bus was empty, like yes, there's not a problem with that. I think it
Absolutely.
does it depend on how many groceries she actually had. I mean, here in Oz, you're not allowed to put items in the walkway down the middle of the bus.
No.
So was it, 3
Well,
bags or under,
no,
or did she have a fair few bags?
she did mention, I believe, I'm just having another look now, the bags were super heavy, so she wanted to put them down, obviously. And I mean, it would be really difficult to be carrying bags of heavy groceries on a bus and still be able to hold on, right? You're going to want to put them down, and I get that, right? But I'm pretty sure she mentioned here that she could have put them on her lap or on the floor in front of her. So
Oh,
my understanding is it wasn't like a full, shopping for 6 people with a trolley load of groceries. It's probably 3 or 4 bags, maybe 5. It
bags.
fitted on the seat next to her.
Right.
So
Well, if that's the case, yeah, you're an a-hole. I think like I was, listening, I'm like, well, if it's quite a few bags and you're not allowed to put them in the walkway because of tripping hazards, and I've barely ever caught a bus.
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I try to avoid that as much as I can, and I know that people prefer it, but it is a danger hazard when you are trying to climb over things, when you're, having to get up to go to to your station to get off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
our buses are quite tiny here. There's only really enough room for your legs to fit in, and I'm pretty small of a person. So if you were a bigger person, there really wouldn't be much room. But if she's saying she could literally move them in front of her and put one or two on her lap,
Yeah.
and that bus is full and people do want to sit, yeah, slide over, lady, let someone sit down.
Exactly.
You
And I
know
mean,
what
there
I
was,
mean?
she said, oh, but nobody asked me to move them. The point is she didn't
Yeah,
offer. You know,
I
that's
wouldn't
like
have
saying, oh,
asked.
you know, there was an elderly lady standing there and I just decided not to move over and let her have the seat next to me.
Yeah. No,
It's no
I don't
different,
think
you
this day and
know.
age I would have asked. Should you have to ask? Should you
You
have to
shouldn't.
ask?
No, that's my thought.
Like, if you're sitting there and you're taking up all that seat, and you can actually just slide over and be a little bit uncomfortable until your seat's available again, or they leave, or you're leaving, then just suck it up. It is public transport. You've got to understand that this is going to happen. So yeah, move over, ask, offer, do you want to sit here? If they say no, I mean, totally different. Then
Absolutely.
happily sit there. But you don't. Yeah.
And most people don't want to sit next to a stranger on a bus. Yeah, they do. That's why they get on a bus. They know they're going to
Oh,
be
is that
sitting next to
something that
people
was
they
said?
don't know. In the comments somewhere, I read that she said that. You know,
Oh.
I was just shocked. I just thought, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
That's a little interesting.
My
Yeah, right.
groceries take precedence over you standing there struggling to stand up on a bus that you might be doing 10 stops on because my groceries have your seat and I'm too selfish to move them for you.
Yeah, no, that's a little over the top. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like I said, it would be different if she had oodles of bags. She wasn't going to be able to move them, to move over, to make enough seating. And, people live on buses. They don't own cars. That's
That's
quite
right.
common. That's a different circumstance. You can see that, she can't put them anywhere else. She can't put them in the aisle. And that would be different. The fact is, it sounds like she could have moved over.
Yes.
She said that yeah, I think you just said about her being able to move over, and she could have, moved over if somebody asked her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not so
She
sure about this.
she could have just picked them up, put them on her lap, put some next to her on the floor, be accommodating. That's the word of the day, is being accommodating to other people. And not
Yeah.
only that, but I sort of thought about it. I thought, well, if someone was on crutches, they had a broken leg, they've got to try and fit it. They can't stand up, right? They're going to fall over. So they've got to sit down and their crutches are taking up a bit of room and, they've got to use the leg room to hold their leg out kind of thing. People are going to accommodate that and not
Yeah.
expect them to give up their seat, are they? I mean, that's a
Yeah.
whole
Where
different
are they
thing.
going to put their leg? Yeah.
That's right. We accommodate people to enable
Yeah.
that kind of thing. We don't accommodate bags of groceries. It's just rude.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. I agree. And I certainly, like I said, I wouldn't be asking somebody, you know what I mean? There's too much,
Yeah.
what's the word I'm thinking? Like
Well,
there's too many
aggression
people
too.
that, yeah, aggression. Yeah, that's right. And I don't know that I would feel comfortable in putting myself in a position like that. So do the right thing. Don't be an a-hole. Ask if someone wants to sit there and slide over and move.
Yeah, that's right.
It's really not a big deal. I'm not sure why we're even actually having to talk about this. Have we really lost that much common sense? Like,
I
to
guess
ask
so.
the question,
Yeah.
am I an a-hole because I wouldn't move when I could have moved, but
Yeah,
nobody
that's
asked
right.
me? I'm questioning. I do this a lot. I question what is happening in the world. We don't need to do this, people. We don't need to talk about this. This is just common sense.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. Well, I'm
Very,
glad
very
that you
interesting.
you don't have to agree with me. I'm glad it's not just my opinion that someone should have possibly been polite enough to move their bags of groceries and let someone else take a seat that's actually paid a fare. She
Yeah,
didn't pay
where's
two
the
fares.
judge's hammer? We've
Yeah.
decided,
And
like,
you
yeah,
know what?
choose the a-hole.
She could have paid two fares so that she could accommodate her groceries. Maybe the bus driver could have said to her, look, love, if you want to take up an extra seat, you're going to have to pay for it because there's other paying customers here that you're taking the seat from.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm just going to bring it back. Like, it's just common courtesy, it's common sense, and just move, just slide over. It's like the warning labels on bottles. Do we need that? If it says don't, it's poison, do we need to don't drink it? Like, I feel like this is one of those things, and we've sort of really lost common courtesy somewhere along the line, as well as common sense, and also this ignorance of, oh, well, I didn't get asked, so I don't have to move. What is that? What is that?
Again, that's an expectation that everybody will accommodate her and her groceries, her shopping.
Yeah, again, weird.
And I mean, I'm glad she asked because, it's a teaching moment, isn't it?
Well, I hope she does read the comments, so she is actually aware, like, that. Yes, don't do that again. That's not okay.
That was rude. It was rude.
That is rude. That's not acceptable. Pull your head in. Like, if that was one of my kids, I would have said, pull your head in. What were you thinking?
Yeah.
So shall we move on to another topic, talking about courtesy?
Well, let's do that.
Let's do that. It is a Bridezilla on Reddit, because I love the Reddits and I think I love the comments. So we will be to the comments after this.
Okay, let's just take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Hey guys, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Make a comment down below and let us know what you think. Okay, let's get back into it.
Hey, Fallon, you were talking about a Bridezilla.
A Bridezilla, I know. Who else is addicted to these Bridezillas and these Reddit comments?
Amazing. Sorry.
No, you're right.
Some of them are just so full on, aren't they?
They're so full on. They're so full on. But I've noticed that you've got the ones that are just full blown Karen, and then you've got the ones that are just, pretty innocent. And it depicts on which ones are getting attacked and which ones are not getting attacked. Sometimes that really surprises me in how people react to it. Which brings me to this one. This one I didn't expect to have it go this way. So it says, what to expect. Come join us to celebrate our wedding. Please bring one covered dish. Please PM me what you're bringing so we don't have doubles. Also bring your own alcohol. Refreshments will be included. RSVP, I should say, no later than June the 10th, please. Hope to see you all there to celebrate us. So they're having a wedding. I think it would be more part of the reception part of it, obviously.
Yeah. Great idea.
I think it's a fantastic idea. Absolutely. This day and age, with everything that's so expensive and the financial hardship that everyone's going through, is it even possible to have a wedding? Like, who has the finances to pay $130 plus a head like it is here in Australia? That's about the minimum, is about $130 a head, where it seems like they're just going, screw this. Let's just do the casual part of it, and let's just do like a big picnic is the way that I see it. It seems to be,
absolutely.
now it seems to be pretty big on the going from that let's go to the comments moment, as I do. It's called a potluck picnic reception, seems to be the well-known name for it. I've actually never heard of this. What about you, Maggie?
No, I've never Never heard of it. I think it's a fabulous idea. I can't understand why it's in Bridezilla though. Did they not like the idea?
No, no. Just yeah. Bride demands. People bring their
Oh,
own food and alcohol to reception. Who does this? So, again, like not everybody is in that square box, has to be, black tie event, blah, 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 blah. It's got to be formal, blah, blah, blah. Like as my avatar is, I have a cowboy hat or cowgirl hat, whichever you want to call it without being offended. I've got pink hair, I've got blonde hair, I've got blue hair. I'm always changing the colors of my hair.
yeah.
And the black tie thing, as someone who's, slowly getting married, the black tie thing has really put me and my partner, husband to be, off. Like, I don't understand. I
Yeah.
like, also, we're not a huge, you have to be married in a certain amount of time, all that, but I'm sure we'll get into that in later conversations. So this really seems like a great idea. And on this post, believe it or not, with the whole who does this moment and bride demands, she's not actually demanding. She says, come and join us to celebrate our wedding. So there's no
Yeah.
demanding. If you're not pleased with it, don't come, people.
Yeah,
If you don't like
don't
my
do
voice,
it.
swipe. What are
Yeah,
we worried about here?
exactly. I can believe
Yeah.
it. Wow. So, I mean, I think everyone should do this. I'm just going to say this, I'm all about saving money. That no one, cost of living, everything's gone up. Everyone's starting to realise, I think, since, lockdowns, everyone's starting to realise that the way the world has been and consumerism is ridiculous. No one can afford crap anymore. Like, let's
No.
get back to reality because everything's been so surreal and unreal for so long now. Let's bring the simple life back. And to me, like I just imagine, I've seen it in movies before, where maybe in the southern states of the US, I'm not sure. Please let me know if you happen to be listening. But I've seen movies where, they have fairs and that kind of thing where everyone brings a plate. It can be a dessert or a salad, and they have these big barbecues and picnic lunches. All the community comes, all the families come, and they're all bringing plates of food, and they all go on these great big bench tables, and everyone has a ball. They play games, footy, soccer, cricket, whatever it is. I don't really know. To me, that's the epitome of a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think you're losing a ton of stress. I think you're losing a ton of worry. And the day
Yeah,
doesn't have to be pristine and absolutely perfect for it to be the day. I mean, what is
yeah,
this the day? It's a wedding to me, and it used to be a celebration with your friends and your family to, just celebrate the day that you've tied the knot. When did it get
absolutely.
so formal?
Yeah.
Is everyone
Yeah.
think that they're the royal family all of a sudden? Like, what is happening? I mean, if that's your choice, go for it, but don't knock the people that want to just have a casual wedding. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's not like they're, I mean, I've seen some, and it's, how dare they not give me, $1,000 in my wedding present, as well as, like, this is nothing like that. They're just saying, hey guys, listen, bring your own alcohol. We're going to put refreshments in, bring a plate. Let's just have, a picnic and celebrate this as family and friends, and keep it casual. None of this, you have to wear pastels. Oh, that's another one for another day. I seen that. I was just like, what the hell, mate? Like, I wouldn't even have a pastel in my cupboard, unless it's my tracksuit pants, and I'm happy to turn up in my tracksuit pants. Like, and there's no pressure. She's not asking, she's not demanding. I'm not sure whoever shared this Reddit was, maybe a bit of a Karen. Maybe, oh, can't accept this. How dare we just do a casual wedding? That's not a real wedding. And you know what, guys? everybody has their own types of wedding. I will not be having a black tie wedding myself. I don't see the understanding of why you would need to have that.
No, that's
So,
right.
that I love the comments, because the comments were all for this. And I had a potluck picnic reception. It was very well. But my family is cool like that. I specifically said that we didn't want any gifts other than to share food. We
Oh,
provided the
wow.
hamburgers, hot dogs, drinks, and odds and ends. And the comments, the hundreds of comments that are under this one post, I haven't seen one that hasn't said, oh, like, this is the worst idea. How bad is it? Blah, 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 blah. That I've seen. They're saying that she's not demanding. She's just asking, if you want to come along to celebrate, please bring your own alcohol, and that is,
Wow.
alcohol here is phenomenally expensive.
Oh,
Like,
no.
when we were doing the we must do wedding and started preparing that at the beginning, we were looking at $2,000 to do our own alcohol at our own reception. That was not part of an RSL or a club or a venue or a wedding venue.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, we just can't afford it. And because of the financial, we have actually put it off for years.
Yeah, that's right.
So
People can't
this
afford it.
they
And
can't afford it.
we both know that anything that has wedding in front of it, you can double the price or triple or quadruple the price of it. Like a
Yeah.
cake is going to be so much more expensive just because it's a wedding cake. And you may be
Absolutely.
having an iced chocolate mud cake. But if it's
Yes.
a wedding iced
cake.
chocolate mud cake, it's going to cost you 50 times more, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about, again, being accommodating, but getting back to reality, isn't it? Like nobody
Yeah.
in their right mind wants to go into debt to get married.
No, and that's the thing, like, to do the basics of a traditional wedding, we were looking at over $20,000. And I said
Can't
to my
imagine.
partner, oh, wait a minute, that's a house deposit.
That's
Why are
how
we
I
doing
see
that?
it. That's exactly how I see it. That's
I'd rather go and buy an
an
investment for us
investment. Yeah.
and
And I
instead
know
of,
that,
a one-day event.
yeah. And I know that you're investing in your marriage, but you're doing that in other ways. It doesn't have to be in, the actual cost of the wedding itself. I just can't. I'd love to hear what people's comments are on this, because I understand, people spend $10,000 on a wedding dress and all that kind of thing. Whereas I just me personally, and I don't, honestly, I'm not judging anyone for whatever their decisions are. But for me personally, if I'm going to have the wedding dress and do all that kind of thing, I'm going to go secondhand.
Yeah.
You
And there's
know,
nothing wrong with that.
there's absolutely nothing. You can get some of the most magnificent. I might go and spend $50 on a secondhand wedding dress and then go and have it tailor-made to fit me or whatever, which might cost me another $100 or $200 by
Yeah.
seamstress, having it taken in or whatever you need. To me, it's just, I just can't. I couldn't justify, no matter how special I want that day to be a cause of stress or to have me in debt for years to come because I've
Yeah.
wanted it a specific way. I'd rather, like, this idea of potluck picnic, to me, is magnificent. There's no pressure. Again, the word pressure. There's no stress. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. And isn't that what it's supposed to be? I mean, you can
Absolutely.
still have, tradition without the whole, princess ball events. And
Yeah.
I don't understand anyone that would want to take the pressure on, having to pay that off for years if they
Oh,
don't have the money up front, or getting the loans, paying the extra fees, paying the interest on that, etc., etc. Who in their right mind would want to actually do that?
yeah.
Like, again, I would rather you are already investing in getting your marriage certificate and having it
Absolutely.
legal. That's what it's
Yeah.
about, and your vows is an investment, in my opinion. Anything else above that is truly upon a choice. And again,
Yeah.
if you want to have your princess ball wedding, I'm not knocking it, but I do see an awful lot of knocking people who generally can't afford, a very friendly budget where they're not in debt and they can just do what their means can do. And even that is a struggle for a lot of people. And, there's no demanding with any of this, like, how the comments are saying, there is no demanding in that. She's saying, if you want to come,
Yeah, just
bring a
bring a
plate
plate.
to share, but please bring your own alcohol. Is there anything wrong with that? No, I don't
I
think
don't
there
think.
is.
Yeah, I think
You
it's a
know,
wonderful idea.
I think it is too. I think it's fantastic idea by all means, and I love the comments, probably not a bridezilla, just a broke bride. That's more common than it has ever been, I think. Maybe it's just more that it's out in the open now with, the last couple of years and how that's been. But, I'm glad that there was no bad comments. I fail to see any bridezilla actions here. She's having a potluck style reception and we'll have refreshments there. What is wrong with that?
Absolutely nothing in my idea, in my book.
No. Let us know down below in the comments. What do you think? Is this a bridezilla moment or is this just casual?
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about this? I mean, I think we're both on the same page here. The judge's hammer's coming down. This is not a bridezilla situation. Forgive my plane going overhead right now if you can hear that.
I did wonder what was happening there for a minute.
It's a plane. I apologize for that. Yeah, so again, like, I don't see the problem with this.
No, I don't at all. I think it's a great idea, and I would really personally love to see more of it. I think people would enjoy it so much more. That picnic style of thing, and just family coming together and friends coming together. It's a lot more relaxed. There's no stress. God, imagine being the bride or the groom organising this and just saying, look, everyone just show up, bring a plate, bring your alcohol.
Yeah.
There's drinks and, soft drink, water, all that kind of thing. Might have a bowl of punch or whatever. Basic food
Yeah.
stuff there, and bring a plate so that, it just takes all the stress off everyone.
We've got,
And
honestly, can we normalize this so all people can have their dream weddings instead of just the wealthy?
yeah, is that a comment, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's me. I totally agree. Absolutely. I vote yes.
Yeah, me too. I vote yes on this. Absolutely. Potlucks are a thing. BYO is a thing. Some people are poor broke. What's the issue? So like there is so many people I think that agree with us here as well. Like
Yeah.
again, better than spending 70,000 that you don't have and being a bridezilla if someone wears the wrong color to your wedding. So, like, and I have
Absolutely.
seen that. I really have seen way too many comments. Am I a bridezilla because I will only accept these colors at my wedding? Yes, honey, you are. Pull
Yeah.
your head in.
Yeah, let's face it. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I
And I
fail to
mean,
see any bridezilla actions here. She's having a potluck style reception and she is serving refreshments. What is wrong with this?
yeah. And you
Like,
know
so
what? Yeah, I don't even see it as a broke thing, to be quite honest with you, because you could have all the money in the world and still do this. What I see in this is someone who prefers a relaxed lifestyle, who doesn't
yeah,
actually want
chill
the stress, who wants everyone that's coming to not feel they have to spend a lot of money.
to
People
attend.
who,
Yeah.
other people who might not, people who travel, for example, have had airfares and stuff to pay for, might actually be able to afford to come to this wedding, because there's not an expectation of, gifts and all that kind of thing involved, just come, just bring a plate. Those people can grab, a couple of bag of chips or whatever at the supermarket on their way, throw them into a bowl, put it on the table. There's no
Yeah.
drama. It's
Yeah.
so much nicer. I just love the idea of people becoming more relaxed, less anxiety at these events, and just coming back to family and friends and gatherings that don't require ridiculous amounts of protocol and stress.
And just, yeah, it's just a ton of stress. I mean, it's already stressful trying to organize where you're going to have it, how you're going to have it, how many people can you afford to invite, who do you not want to invite, is there family arguments that you've got to try and sort out. If you're doing sitting arrangements, you've got to,
Exactly.
how are we going to sit all these people, how are we going to keep them communicated, what are we going to do with the kids, have it at the damn park, people, like.
And I mean, this
And
does take
when did
away
it
from
get
all
so
that.
bad?
I
Sorry.
know. No, you're right. Like, even you mentioned about seating arrangements and who are you going to invite and who can't you invite. It takes that away because usually it's, well, I can only afford to invite this many people. So imagine if you have this potluck picnic, how many people can come, because you're not having to spend tens of thousands of dollars accommodating people at a reception that's costing a ridiculous amount of money per head. And can I just say, those people generally leave still hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, with that $130 foods that's got a crumb in the middle of the plate.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And when did it get to this point? Like when through the generations, because I know that my Nana's generation wasn't some princess fancy ball that had to be accepted and to be an acceptable traditional wedding.
Yeah.
So why and when did that become that it was the only way to have an acceptable wedding or traditional wedding, that it had to be this big fancy $70,000 wedding? I don't understand when that actually happened.
Oh. And,
Because back then it wasn't. It was a casual party type of celebration of, a little bit of food in a park or at a hall, your church, It wasn't this big, royal wedding.
no. And I would actually like to see it stopped to a degree.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, everyone's obviously welcome to do whatever they want to do, but stop shaming people for wanting to have a more relaxed time and a more relaxed wedding. Because I'm all for that. I'm like, no, we're going to have fun. Come on, let's let's just enjoy
think
this day and be able to celebrate
Yeah.
it properly without worrying about, oh my God, Aunt Joy's here and she's probably going to get drunk and she's not going to like that food and, all the
Yeah,
drama and rigmarole
exactly.
that goes along with it.
I think it's to stop the shaming of your guests not being able to afford your ballroom wedding as well, your royal wedding.
That's
The
right.
whole you must go and buy another outfit, which are expensive right now in an economy situation,
Yeah.
to, spend easily $100 on a
Or
dress or a
five
top and
or
bottom and
$500.
or
Yeah.
$500 to
And
spend on one day, and they're not the bride, they're a guest, so they can't then go and attend because they can't afford it, and then they've got to
yeah,
do it for their husband or their adult children that also then have to go and do this to accommodate these, have to be because it's tradition of what I want. I mean, I'm glad that you want that, but at the end of the day, it's a 1 day event, and that's got absolutely nothing to do with actually tying the knot.
exactly.
It's almost we've
Exactly.
forgotten what marriage is even about.
Yeah,
It's now a fashion
it's
show
about,
of this has to
yeah,
be pristine, rather
yeah,
than no, we're actually joining together. But yeah, no, well, I think again we're in agreements of this. Get
yeah.
the judge hammer out, and we'll knock this one on the head for sure. Because not only us, but I would like to say I can pinpoint a comment on this Reddit, but unfortunately there is none. there's just so many. We need to normalize these potluck weddings, and
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with this. And she's not been a bridezilla, and who wants to spend thousands of dollars and be in debt? And yeah, so I can't even nag on a comment. It's a bit sad.
No, that's but I'm all for
The
it.
current
And,
type of
you know,
moment.
I'd love to hear people sort of let us know in the comments, like, what do you think? If you're not married, is this the kind of wedding that you would like to have? Let us know what kind of wedding you did have and what your reception was like, and whether there are things that you would change in it. Because I have to say, I'm all for more relaxation and taking pressure off people. I think, a lot of people don't get married because they know it's going to be too dramatic.
And it's going to cost too much, and
It's
they
going to
just can't
cost
afford
too
it.
much. There's too much pressure to, live up to a certain standard, or, I hate
If
it.
there is any, oh, sorry.
No,
If there
you're
is
right.
anybody out there that has had this potluck wedding, please let us know
Yes.
down below. Did it actually turn out
Ooh.
really well? And, do you actually have regrets? Maybe I'm completely off the ball here because I'm very chilled back and I prefer not to do it. But have you had regrets? Do you wish that you did have the big wedding?
Yeah, we'd love to know. We really would love to know. We're open to discussing it all. We are the unlimited discussion after
We
all.
are. Bring it on. Open it up and let us know without judgment. Keep the comments nice. If you don't agree,
Yes,
scroll on.
always. We're friends here. Well, that's it for today, guys. And we'd like to say thank you for joining us. And again, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's a link below if you'd like to buy us a coffee, which we would really appreciate. It all helps our channel out. We'll see you next time. It's bye from me.
It's bye for me.
Bye, guys.